Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Mental Health Monday. Good morning. We are back for another week, another day, and another month. We are in March. I don't know, this year, I don't know, the years keep running for me. I don't know about you guys. The year, the month, I cannot believe we're already in the third month of this year. Good morning. Happy Monday, you guys. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. Welcome back to continue talking about our mental health, about our mental wellness. Welcome back. So this year, this is the first time you reach my channel. My name is Krista. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a therapist. And then this channel is focused on talking about mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, anything about mental health. This is not therapy. This is a conversation for you guys to continue maintain about your mental wellness. So this year I am focused on mental wellness. So I'm bringing different type of topic for us to be intentional about. So those are the intentional topic that you have to put effort on, topic that you have to be practice, you have to be practical. And then with the topic, I am going to talk about what the topic is. I'm going to talk about what the topic is not. And I'm also going to talk about how is the topic is impacting our mental health, and how is the topic, if you worked on it, it's actually will help you with your mental wellness. And then at the end, I will give you a way to work on it so you can use it with yourself, family, and things like that. You can practice. Or even if you want a little bit more information, you can ask me, or you can Google, you can look up. But I want to give you some practical tools, some good therapeutic tools so you can practice. Again, this week, I have another great topic. I love this subject. I know I say that with all the subject with my mental wellness. It's because I love it. And like I told you guys, I'm one of the therapists. Whatever I share with you, I'm putting it in practice. I do not believe that I am above anyone. The same way I'm teaching you guys how to take care of your mental wellness, I am doing the same thing. I am human. I know the other day I was having a conversation with someone, and then I was telling that I am in therapy. And they were like, what? How come you're a therapist and you are in therapy? I'm like, what do you mean? What you just say is that a barber never see a barber, or a nail tech never see a nail tech, or a doctor never see a doctor, or a OBGYN never see a OBGYN, or a delivery nurse or a doctor never go to a hospital to get delivery, or a dentist never see a dentist, or a hairstylist never see a hairstylist. Yes, you guys, a therapist also need to go to therapist. And sometimes I will say we need to go to therapy more because we are receiving others' trauma, we are listening, we create space for individuals. Then we need to making sure we are well as well, so we can have that space. So with that said, I'm going to ask you, before I go with my topic today, what did you do to take care of your mental health last week? What did you do? What did you do last week to take care of your mental health? What I did last week to take care of my mental health, and what I noticed I have been doing lately, is whatever I teach you guys in a week, I've been implementing them to take care of my mental health. So last week, I taught you guys a technique on how to bring some self-love. That's what I did to take care of my mental health. Every day last week, I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, and I say 5 things about myself that I like to take care of my mental health. And then what I noticed, I don't know if any of you guys who's listening to me, if you did it, what I noticed last week, when I did it, I spent the whole day in a wellness mood. Like I spend the whole day just like thinking about what's great about me, what I like about my physique, what I like about the society. And I spend that whole day just just be like, and like, like feeling good. And that's what I'm hoping you guys feel when you did that affirmation. So what about you? What did you do to take care of your mental health? So we are going to continue with our topic for today. Oh my God. I love this topic. Okay. So what I want to talk about with you guys today is forgiveness. And I want to share what forgiveness is. I want to share what forgiveness is not. I want to share how forgiveness is actually impacting your mental health, and what's the beauty about forgiveness and how it helps you with your mental wellness. I also want to share the biggest part, the hardest things that I find in therapy and personally about forgiveness. And then I also want to go over some techniques, tools that I use in therapy when I'm doing forgiveness work. Yes, there is forgiveness work. I normally call it forgiveness therapy. And then sometimes forgiveness therapy can take like 6 weeks up to 12 weeks. It's an intense work, and it's intentional. It's effort, it's choice, right? And then at the end, I want to share something I have been doing to help me with forgiveness. Okay, so stay tuned. I will try my best not to make this video long. I try my best not to make this video long. So stay with me. And if you cannot watch this video in one sitting, you always can come back. If you find this video helpful, make sure you share, like, subscribe, comment, do something, interacted with this video so we can continue grow and we can continue be founding with people, because my goal is to save some people. Okay, so let's do it. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is intentional. Forgiveness is you make the intentional choice to let go. You all let go of anger feelings. You all let go of the injustice. You all let go of the revenge that you decided of what happened to you, of the injustice. So you let go of the resentment. You let go of the anger. You let go of the decision to make revenge of something that happened to you that was hurtful to you, of the injustice. So for example, if someone cheat on me, if I have a husband or I have a boyfriend or I have a partner and that person cheat on me, forgiveness is I decided to let go of that rage. I decided to let go of that resentment, and I decided to let go of the decision to revenge that person of them cheat on me. That is what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is for you. You are the one who decided to free yourself. You are the one who decided to let go of it. Forgiveness is an emotional healing. Forgiveness is a stress release. Forgiveness is in the body. Forgiveness is in the mind. Forgiveness is in the heart. I normally see forgiveness like you imagine like you have a boo-boo, right? Imagine like, let's say, I don't know, when I was younger, I burned myself. So let's give it an example. Let's say you burn yourself. Burning yourself happened. It's there. It hurt. The mark is there. Now, when you're forgiving, it's you deciding not to keep picking on this burn, not to keep scrapping on this burn. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is you decided to let go and say, you know what? I'm not going to look at this burn anymore. Now, what is forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not decided that I'm going to forget what happened to me. Forgiveness is not like, oh, I'm forgetting that this person cheated on me. Sometimes I have patients that come that say, why can't I forget? I'm like, why do you want to forget? Because forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not excusing what the person has done. It's it's like what the person has done is acceptable. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is not reconcile with the person. Forgiveness is not saying, okay, I'm going to reconnect with the person. Forgiveness doesn't even need to be, I tell the person to forgive them. Forgiveness is not me deciding that what the person has done is not wrong. I can still believe what the person has done is wrong and still decide to forgive that person. Forgiveness is not decided like I'm going to open my boundary again. I'm not going to set that boundary. That's why you see someone, like let's say if they are going to court for something that person has done and they say, yes, I still want that person to go to jail. However, I forgive that person. So you don't have to say, okay, I'm not going to say, okay, justice doesn't need to be served. Justice can still be served. It's not revenge. Justice can still be served and you still decided to forgive that person. Justice and revenge is two different things. This is not the subject. This is not the video for justice and revenge, so I'm not going to stuck on that. Forgiveness is not me saying, oh, I need to have a closure or I need to tell the person. That's not what forgiveness is. Now, how does forgiveness not forgive, hold on to grudge, resent, anger, revenge? How does that impact in our mental health? So first of all, when we not forgive, we stay in this chronic stress response. We stay in this chronic stress response, which is continue activating our nervous system. And when we stay in this chronic stress response, our stress hormones is up. And I don't know if you guys know about the cortisol, which is our stress hormones. When we are staying in that constant stress hormones, now it's impacting our weight, it's impacting our heart, it's impacting our health, it's giving us hypertension. When you are staying in that lack of forgiveness, you creating this anxiety for yourself. And the way you're creating this anxiety for yourself is because you keep thinking, which is called rumination. You keep staying in the moment over and over and over and over again. And you can find yourself. If something happened to you and you cannot forgive that thing, or you cannot forgive the situation, you cannot forgive the person, you will find yourself keep thinking about the thing over and over and over and over, which is rumination. And when you keep thinking and you keep relieve that person over and over and over, it gives you anxiety. It gives you emotional fatigue. Sometimes you can find yourself exhausted. There's people that's emotionally exhausted, and that's because they are holding on grudge. They are not decided to forgive other individual, and they are emotional exhausted, and they don't have capacity. They don't have capacity for others. They don't have capacity for love. They don't have capacity for happiness. They don't have capacity for peace. And then when we are not forgiving, we keep distrust. We don't trust others. And this is not the conversation regarding trust either. I'm going to drop a video on how trusting and untrusted actually impacting wellness. But yes, we become distracted with other. Something funny about forgiveness. We thinking when we're not forgiving, that make us not doing the thing over, or that make us not picking the person over. You'll be surprised. Lack of forgiveness make you actually do the things over and over and over again. But something that I find that is very hard in forgiveness when I'm working with clients, patients, or even myself, something that I find very hard in forgiveness is actually self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is the hardest forgiveness. It's easier for people to forgive others, but to forgive themselves, that's harder. And personally, I am someone that struggle with self-forgiveness. I have a hard time to forgive myself. Easy. It's easy to forgive people. And the way my thought process go to forgive other people is that I'm like, the person didn't know better. I'm like, oh, the person mental health is struggling. The person is unhealed. The person is unsaved. The person is having a hard time. I I have that compassion for those individuals. I have kindness for those individuals. I see where they're struggling. But for myself, I end up having this ego thing, like I should know better. I have these thoughts. I know for other people, for them to forgive themselves, they have those thoughts that like they feel guilty. They feel guilty. They feel like they could have done better in this relationship, or they could have done better in this situation, or they should have known better. For me, it's that should. And I say should is a strong word, but it's the idea like I should know better. I know better. And sometimes I have seen myself knowing better, but because I struggle with forgive myself, I don't trust myself. I don't trust my intuition, because the same thing that impacting your mental wellness when you are doing self-forgiveness is the same. You do not trust yourself. You have a hard time with boundary. So your boundary is open and wide. You keep thinking about the thing over and over and over. What I should have done here. What I should have say here. What I see here. And I keep doing the same thing. I will whip my own bondage. I will keep picking in my own womb and make myself miserable. And of course, I have that emotional fatigue because I make myself tiring on thinking of what I should have done. And of course, I'm punishing myself because I'm punishing myself of what Krista have done when Krista was 10 years old. And I'm punished the 10 years old, like I'm punished my own 39-year-old self. I have done things that, when I was 25 years old, when I was 30 years old, even when I was 38 years old. But I keep punishing my 39 self and I keep living on it, and I can't set myself free. That is something that I have struggled. I'm working on it. I am working on it. But that is something that I recognize on my own self, that I struggle a lot with self-forgiveness. And I have found a lot of my patients, a lot of my clients struggle a lot with self-forgiveness. And science statistic is showing that it is harder to self-forgiving than forgiving others. So the techniques that I have teaching on how to forgive others. Remember, this is not therapy. And there's a technique that I teach, and I'm just going to rapidly go over it because this is a intense work. These techniques, I normally use it for a good 6 to 12 weeks when I'm doing forgiveness work with a patient. I just want to tell you what it is. So there is 4 stages of forgiveness. There is 4 stages of forgiveness. The first stage is the uncovering stage. And that first stage is when you are finding, you are really understanding what really happened. What really happened. And you are also learning, how is that impacting me? How did it harm me? So if the example that I took earlier, if I'm doing a forgiveness work with an individual regarding someone that cheated on them, and the first stage is they have to understand what's really happened. What really happened? And how does it hurt me? So sometimes doing that work, and it can take 2 to 3 sessions, this person have to talk with that person and understanding exactly what happened. And this person have to understand it. How did it hurt them? Them cheating on them, how does it hurt them? So that's the first stage of forgiving someone. The second stage of forgiving someone is the decision stage. And in that decision stage is you going to decide, after you understand it and you seeing how it hurts you, you going to decide it. Do I want to forgive that person, or do I want to not forgive that person? I have some patients that stop right there in that second stage, because some patients say, okay, I want to forgive that person, and they keep going with the other stage. But there's some patients that say, you know what, Krista, I do not want to forgive that person, because the rage, the resentment, the revenge keep me going. And sometimes they think it keep them going, and that's something, of course, I address and talk in therapy. But I want to just tell you how that person sometimes thinking those things, like holding on to the lack of forgiveness, actually help them. Like, let's say they say, okay, you know what? Because I reset what they did to me, with, if I'm taking the same example regarding the cheating, because I hate that they cheat on me and I want to revenge what they do, that keep me from going back to the person. That keep me from I want to do better. Sometimes that's why you see like the divorce effect, right? That make me want to lose the weight, that make me want to do better for myself, that make me hate that person. And when I hate that person, then it keep me from going back to the person, right? Some people say, I want to hold on to the grudge, I want to hold on to the anger, I want to hold on to the resentment, I want to revenge, so I want to hold on to the forgiveness. Then we go another round. But if you decided in the second stage that you want to forgive that person, then you go to the work. And then the third stage is the work stage. And in that work stage, you working on knowing who the person is. You working on knowing why is the person is doing what they did. You working on understanding the person. You working on understanding your response. You working on understanding what did you know? Why did you do that? So it's a lot of work. That stage can be a good 5 to 6 session where you are learning, you are questioning. And in that stage, you start having some compassion for that individual. In that stage, you start understanding that person. You start getting some freedom from the thoughts. You start letting go to some of those rage. You start letting go to some of those resentment. You start letting go to the revenge. You start seeing those revenges not for that person. You start also seeing how it's benefiting you, how it's not benefit the person. And then the last stage, we call it the deep end stage. It's when you start having freedom. It's when you start you actually letting go, you free. And you even experiencing some, like, you start thinking like, you know what? I see why do I need to go through that. Some people you might hear when they forgive a situation or they forgive a person, they say things like, you know what I went through make me who I am. The experience that I went through actually make me seeing this different. Some patient even saying, you know what, Krista, if I didn't go through this, I will never meet you. I will never go to therapy. I will never come here. I will never know that I need to do this work. You start like seeing the beauty of the issues, what the injustice, the harm that you went through when you start getting the and that first stage. And then of course that's when the freedom come and the forgiveness come. And then it's ongoing. It's not something after you do the work, it will never show up again. It will never come again. You will have different things. You will have different tools. You will have different skills. Whenever it showed up for you, you can say, you know what, I forgive that person. I forgive that person. You might be able to write that person a letter. You might be able to tell that person. You might even say it to the world. You might start doing grounding work, mindfulness techniques, like other stuff you're going to learn throughout that forgiveness work and therapy. So that is a great techniques that I normally work with my patient to do the forgiveness. Like I say, there's no way, there's no time I can explain all the techniques. I just want to tell you there's 4 stages of forgiveness, and I just wanted to go over the stage. Now, regarding the self-forgiveness, something that I have been doing that's helping me a lot, because like I told you guys, I am struggling with self-forgiveness, and it's a work that I'm doing, and something that I have noticed that helped me a lot, it's affirmation. So I have write down every time I come up with, every time the thoughts come to my mind, because I hate it. I hate sometimes that I am giving a space in my mind and my heart and my body to the situation that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I hate that I'm giving a space in my mind and my heart. So every time the things come to my mind, and then I start having this hardship, this criticism about myself, I say to myself, Krista, you got to forgive yourself. Krista, you got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself. Even today, before I start this video, I was thinking about how hard it is for me to forgive myself. And then the thoughts came back and all the situation. And the situation I'm explaining to you guys, that's what I'm telling you. Like, not forgiving doesn't mean you don't put yourself in the situation. I literally did the same thing within maybe 12 years, maybe more than 12 years. I wanted to say maybe 15 years. I wanted to say 15 years ago, I did the things that making me struggling. I don't want to disclose what I did, that making me having a hard time forgive myself. And I have done it 14 times because I still decided not to forgive myself. Because not forgiving yourself and not forgiving what person done doesn't make you not doing it again. So in the 14 years, I have done it 14 times. And you think because I'm struggling to forgive myself due to the situation that happened 14 years ago that I will stop doing it? No. It's because I bring up the emotional exhausted. I bring up the rumination that's going on to my head. I bring up the stress. I bring up the anxiety. And I bring up the lack of self-trust because I don't trust myself. I don't trust my intuition into the situation that I am doing it over and over and over and over again. Is it last year I decided to work on this self-forgiveness? And then I'm trying to break that cycle because I keep notice I'm doing the same thing over, even though I am seeing it and I'm hating it. Okay? So whenever it came back, I said to myself, Krista, you got to forgive yourself. So that is one of the affirmations I've been using. And it helped a lot. Because every time I say that to myself, then I start talking kind to myself. I start having compassion with myself. I start letting go, and I start thinking like, I cannot keep punishing the 39 years old of me that did something when I was 24 years old. That did something maybe, I don't know, but throughout the years, I know I keep doing it. Okay? So I have to forgive myself. And then I repeat it. When it was louder, I noticed I had to repeat myself often when it was louder. I have to keep saying, Krista, you have to forgive yourself. Krista, you got to forgive yourself. Krista, you got to forgive yourself. But now it's become less. I say it once or twice, and I feel a little bit much better. This is where we're going to end our video for today. Have a great Monday, you guys. Have a great week. And I hope you guys will continue practicing forgiveness and self-forgiveness. Have a good one. Bye-bye.